In today's video, we're going to go through how to monitor Power Automate flows. Now, when monitoring Power Automate flows, there's a few ways to go about it. And of course, we'll show them on the screen here in just a moment. Typically, when you're monitoring flows, you want to stay in the know when a flow fails. This way, you can quickly analyze what happened and correct the issue that caused that flow to fail. So, essentially, when you do set up a flow, after some time, you'll get to a point where you know that it won't fail. But when you first get started with Power Automate, you want to learn how to monitor your flow, understand why your flow failed. This way, you can make corrections. And this is kind of like a continuous cycle until the flow never fails. So, when it comes to monitoring your flows, it's important to stay in the know. Why? One is in case you're setting up Power Automate flows for a business operation. Obviously, when one thing fails, it can cause a series of events to happen. So, if let's say in one step of a flow, there was a communication that was time sensitive that needed to get out, but it doesn't go out, all of a sudden 142 people are not in the know about something and they're supposed to, let's say, go pick up 2,000 people somewhere, and then they don't know. Now you have 2,000 people stranded or at least delayed. That's a little excessive, but you know what I'm saying. Now, flows can be very complex or very simple. It doesn't matter when it comes to monitoring the flow. There's a few ways to look at it. One, you can set in uh, a daily checker. You can kind of get in there and see what type of activity is happening. That is a good practice if you're always in Power Automate every day and you want to really see how all of your cloud or desktop flows are running together, especially if you do have multiple flows kind of intertwined with each other. Um, the other one is a method where I like to call stay in the know. Now, the reason why we want to stay in the know because obviously you're the person who set up the flow. So you probably want to correct the issue, whatever caused the flow to fail. And the best way to do that is, of course, maybe some of you have already started using a practice inside of flow, something that I use. So I use either a conditions or switches. And based on the outcome of the conditions that I have placed, if it ends up going a certain direction, I will send myself an email and be like, oh, this is something wrong that's happening. Make sure to take a look at it. And in that case, if I don't have like a terminate action, I the flow doesn't fail, it succeeds, and I'm staying in the know about another, let's say, system that is attached to the flow that has an issue in it that caused an issue in my flow. Then I now have eyes on an issue that's happening in another system. One way to do that is by setting up these catches inside. It's not necessarily like they're failing points, but the way that you design the flow, you're setting up conditions that'll help you determine how, let's say, solid the input data is. Another way to stay in the know, and personally, it's one of the most convenient ways, even though the first way that I mentioned, how to stay in the know, right, setting up conditions and then emailing yourself in the flows. Um, but besides that, once you get to a certain point, you're setting up flows, they're not failing. It's always good to stay in the know, because some things can fail that are out of your control. The flow may be, uh, the flow may be perfectly set up, but you might have an action in the flow that is dependent upon like maybe like an Azure Databricks or a Synapse data pipeline. and something that's out of your control, it's a part of another team, and let's say it fails on that side, well, then your flow would then fail. And so, it's important to stay in the know. One, you can correct external issues that are happening, not in your flow, but any data source that you have tied to your flow, you can better react to it. Or the next thing would be just simply correcting the issue that you have in your flow. Uh, that way, it could just run again. And what I like to do is whenever a flow does fail, I'll analyze the flow, correct the flow, then rerun the failed flow. That way, I'll push it through till it succeeds, because you could have a case where I mentioned that there was an email that was supposed to get out to hundreds or thousands of people, and it doesn't go out. Well, we still need to get it out, and that's where we can just rerun the failed flow. That'll be for another video on how to troubleshoot failed flows. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into how do we monitor our flows. So from the Power Automate home screen, you can go to your settings dial in the upper right. We can click on your Power Platform admin, or excuse me, just our admin center. From here, you're going to click on Monitor, which is going to be on the left side of your screen on the vertical menu, fourth icon from the bottom. Here's where we're going to set up our alert. It's as simple as that. There are some templates that we can set up, but let's just go ahead and set up a simple alert just to show you. So we're going to click on Add Rule. We're going to say failed flow, and you can name it whatever you like. But I'm going to select on the Power Automate. We're going to go with a cloud flow. Again, you might have cloud and desktop, so you're going to set up an alert for each one. For the environment, I am going to click on select the environment, click on the one that we have, obviously. Let this load, wire up. It may take just a moment as we're converting that over to a managed environment. All right, once you have your environment sitting in here, another way that you can grab your environment is if you do head on over to your Power Platform, or excuse me, your Power Automate, look in the URL. I'm not sure if you can see this, but in the URL just after environments, you'll have the environment name, or sometimes it's just a GUID. It's about 35, 36 characters. So in this case, you'll see default with the GUID after. Here I'm going to go with a metric. So in this one, I'm just going to use success rate is under 100. That's it. I'm going to put this as a high. I'm going to say this is an email notification, and I want that email to that email address, and that's it. Now I will be notified immediately when a flow fails. And it's really that simple in creating an alert. Now that it's toggled on, what you can do is continue to edit if you'd like to, but you can come over to your triggered alerts. From here, since I do not have any triggered alerts, I don't have any to show, but I will trigger some alerts and create another video within this series. So this was the second method in how to stay in the know and how to monitor your flows. All right, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It was just a quick video on how to monitor your flows and make sure that you stay in the know, so that way you can better respond to any issues that do arise throughout your Power Automate adventures. Well, I hope you liked the video. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel. It does help. Well, I don't know if it does, but either way, if you're watching this video, I'm new, I'm just getting started. Why listen to me? I will take a minute and just touch on a couple things. This video was in its very basic beginning steps of Power Automate. However, I have been personally using Power Automate daily for over 7 years, and I build many advanced complex flows running custom connections using Power Automate AI prompting actions within flows. So if you are an advanced Power Automate user, feel free to reach out, send me an email, ask me a question, tell me a topic that you would like to see. I'll dive right into it. All right, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. As you see, I'm new, just getting started. Every view, every subscribe, it helps. Thank you all. Again, if you have any questions or you'd like for me to dive deeper on a specific topic, feel free to send me an email. You can reach me at contact@ytvtrainer.com. Thank you, everybody. Good night.